When I was 8, my parents hired this babysitter named Jessica. She was 16, lived down the street, and seemed responsible enough. My parents trusted her because her mom was friends with my mom. Jessica was fine at first. She'd make us mac and cheese, let us stay up a little past bedtime, normal babysitter stuff. My little brother and I liked her because she wasn't strict. But after a few weeks, things changed. She started bringing her boyfriend over after my parents left. His name was Ryan, and he was older, maybe 18 or 19. He drove a loud car and always wore the same leather jacket. The first time he came over, Jessica told us to go play upstairs and not come down. We did what she said, but I could hear them talking and laughing in the living room. I peeked through the stairway railings and saw them on the couch watching TV. It became a regular thing. Every time Jessica babysat, Ryan would show up 20 minutes later. They'd send us upstairs, and we'd have to stay in our rooms the whole night. One night, I came downstairs because I was thirsty. When I walked into the kitchen, Ryan was there getting a beer from our fridge. He saw me and didn't say anything at first, just stared at me. Then he told me to go back upstairs. I grabbed my water and left, but something about the way he looked at me made me feel sick. The next time my parents went out, the same thing happened. Ryan showed up, they sent us upstairs, but this time I heard yelling. Ryan and Jessica were fighting about something. I heard him call her a name and then heard something break, like glass hitting the floor. My brother started crying in his room. I went to check on him and told him it was fine, that they were just watching a movie, but I was scared too. When my parents came home, the living room was cleaned up. Jessica acted normal, said we were great, took her money and left. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to get in trouble for being downstairs when I wasn't supposed to. But I told my mom the next day that I didn't like Jessica's boyfriend coming over. My mom's face changed immediately. She asked me, "What boyfriend?" I told her about Ryan, about how he came over every time and how they made us stay upstairs. My mom called Jessica's mom that afternoon. Jessica never babysat for us again. Years later, I found out Ryan had been arrested for assault. He'd hit his next girlfriend and put her in the hospital. I still think about what could have happened if he'd gotten angry that night while we were there, if my brother or I had come downstairs at the wrong time. We were just kids. We wouldn't have been able to do anything. When I was 9, there was this park near my house where all the neighborhood kids would play. It had swings, a slide, and a big field where we'd play soccer or tag. My mom would let me go as long as I stayed with my friends and came home before dark. One afternoon in the summer, I was there with my friend Alex. We were on the swings when I noticed a man sitting on a bench near the parking lot. He was just sitting there, watching us. He had sunglasses on and was wearing a baseball cap. I didn't think much of it at first. Sometimes parents would sit and watch their kids play, but this guy didn't have any kids with him. He was alone. Alex and I played for maybe another hour. The whole time, the man stayed on that bench. He didn't move, didn't look at his phone, just sat there. When we decided to leave, I noticed the man stood up too. He started walking in the same direction we were going. The park had one main path that led back to the neighborhood, so it wasn't weird that we were going the same way, but something felt off. Alex and I were talking and walking, and I kept glancing back. The man was still behind us, maybe 20 feet back. He matched our pace. When we walked faster, he walked faster. When we slowed down, he slowed down. I grabbed Alex's arm and whispered that we should run. He asked why, and I just said we needed to go, now. We both took off running toward my street. I looked back, and the man was running too. We didn't stop until we got to my house. I slammed the door behind us and locked it, my heart pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. My mom came out of the kitchen asking what was wrong, and I told her everything. She immediately looked out the window. The man was standing on the sidewalk across the street, just standing there looking at our house. My mom called the police right away. By the time the cops showed up, the man was gone. They took a report and said they'd patrol the area more, but there wasn't much else they could do. He hadn't technically done anything illegal. For weeks after that, I was terrified to go outside. I'd see cars that looked like his parked on our street and think he was watching. My mom didn't let me go to the park alone anymore. I never saw him again, but I never forgot his face either. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we hadn't run, if we'd just kept walking and let him follow us all the way home. When I was 10, my best friend Emma invited me to sleep over at her house. I'd been to her house before during the day, but never overnight. I was excited because her parents said we could stay up late and watch movies. Emma lived with her mom and her mom's boyfriend, Craig. I'd met Craig a few times and he always seemed nice enough. He'd joke around with us and let us have extra snacks. That night, Emma's mom said she had to work a night shift at the hospital and would be gone until morning. Craig would be there if we needed anything. Emma didn't seem bothered by it, so I figured it was normal. We made popcorn and started watching a movie in the living room. Craig was in the kitchen doing dishes. About halfway through the movie, he came and sat in the chair near the couch. He asked what we were watching and made small talk. Then he asked if we wanted to play a game. Emma said no, we wanted to finish the movie. He seemed annoyed, but got up and went to his room. Around 11, Emma said she was tired and wanted to go to bed. We went to her room and got into our sleeping bags on the floor. We talked for a while and then Emma fell asleep. I was still awake when I heard Emma's door open. I stayed still, pretending to sleep. Through my half-closed eyes, I could see Craig standing in the doorway. He didn't say anything, he just stood there for maybe a minute, then quietly closed the door. My heart was racing. I told myself he was just checking on us, making sure we were okay, but something felt wrong. About 20 minutes later, the door opened again. This time, Craig walked into the room. I kept my eyes mostly closed, watching through my eyelashes. He stood between our sleeping bags, looking down at us. Then he knelt down next to me. I held my breath. I didn't move. I was too scared to move. He reached out like he was going to touch my hair, and I couldn't take it anymore. I sat up fast and asked him what he was doing. He jumped back and said he thought he heard me call for him. I said I didn't. He stood there for a second, then said goodnight and left the room. I shook Emma awake and told her what happened. She didn't believe me at first, said Craig wouldn't do that, but I was crying and begging her to call her mom. Emma called her mom and told her I wanted to go home. Her mom sounded frustrated but said she'd have Craig drive me. I said no, I'd walk. It was only a few blocks. Emma's mom ended up leaving work early and came home to get me. She seemed angry, like I was being dramatic. I never told my parents the real reason I left. I just said I got homesick. Emma and I stayed friends for a while after that, but we drifted apart in middle school. Years later, I heard Craig got arrested. Something to do with inappropriate conduct with a minor. I never told anyone what happened that night, until now. Part of me still wonders if I overreacted, if maybe he really did think he heard me call for him. But another part of me, the part that felt him standing over me in the dark, knows exactly what he was doing. And I'm glad I woke up when I did.